Good morning, everyone. I'm your host, Shashi, with you all again with one more episode on Global Women Dialogues talk show to create more voice for women and by women. And we are here on this mission to create a positive directions for your life to grow, to develop, to get motivated by all our speakers who are coming and participating in this. They are sharing their wisdom and knowledge for you to grow. So please take in the same way and let's start talking and connecting with our today's speaker. She is connecting with us from Luxembourg. She is a consultant, coach, and mentor. She is a founder of VLC. Uh, am I correct, Virginie? Is this your VLV or VLC?
VLV. VLV.
Yes. She
Yes.
is founder of VLV, where she does lots of consultancy, coaching, and mentoring. And as Virginie is with us, she will explain, she will tell more about her work, how she do, what she do, how she can help us to understand, and same time how we can find her further if we are looking for further support. But before knowing about her work, as we always try to connect and understand our speakers, how they grew up, what kind of challenges and what kind of journey they had from their childhood till now, and how those all experiences help them and shape them the way today they are. So let's hear from her about her journey. So welcome, Virginie, on our today's Women Dialogues Global Talk Show.
Hi, Shashi. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really happy to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginie. And as I was saying about you, your work, your journey, so let's start hearing from you about your journey. So please share with us.
Yes. So as you all can hear, I am French. I was born and raised in northern France in a little town. I studied there. I went to university. I did a master's degrees in foreign languages and international trade. And I did an additional year. So it's more or less the equivalent of an MBA, but it's a French diploma, again, in foreign languages, English and German, and international trade. After that, I went to Germany. I had to do a training period. I went to Germany, and over there, they offered me a job. So I stayed there and was working as an export assistant. And after approximately a year and a half, I didn't like what I was doing. So I resigned. I went to the Netherlands. And in the Netherlands, I found a job within 2 days. It was the beginning of internet. And I was hired to do technical support for French-speaking, English-speaking, and German-speaking customers. And there I arrived at the right time, at the right place. I grew up in the organization quickly. I became a mentor, a team manager, then a European quality manager. So that meant I traveled a lot to help set up new teams and new sites in different countries. Then I was given the opportunity to become the training and quality manager in Italy. So I moved to Milan. And I stayed there for a year. And just before moving to Italy, I met my now husband. So I came back to the Netherlands. And there I worked there for a big international bank. And I was hired to set up a team in India. So I was acting as the liaison between my Dutch colleagues and my Indian colleagues. Worked there for 5 years, and after setting up the team, I apparently did a good job because the team in India was doing great. So my team in the Netherlands, we were all laid off. And actually I was happy because I didn't really like what I was doing in the end. And so I started to look for a job, and that is where Amazon found me on LinkedIn. And they had a job corresponding to my profile and experience, and went through the interview process, got the job, and moved to Luxembourg, where I worked for Amazon as the senior manager for quality for customer service in Europe, and then the senior manager for learning and development also for customer service in Europe. And after almost 4 years working for Amazon, I decided to resign. That was one of the toughest decisions I took in my life because I really liked my job and with my team and my colleagues. But with my husband, we wanted to travel the world a little bit, so we did that. And in 2018, I came back and I wondered, what do I do? Do I go back to the corporate world? Do I go back to Amazon? Do I start something on my own? And after coaching myself and looking at what I was good at, what people were saying about me, I decided to become an independent and become a trainer, coach, a consultant in leadership. And that's what I've been doing since then. One thing I did not mention, I was speaking mostly about my professional work, but more than 20 years ago as well, there was something happened to me that also shaped my life. I was in a big car accident and I had to stay 3 months in the hospital. Doctors thought I would be paralyzed. And so I had to stay in bed for 6 weeks without being able to stand up or even to sit. And then when let's say the danger was over, they put me in a wheelchair, and slowly but surely I started to learn to walk like a baby. So overall, it took me 3 months in the hospital and another 6 months before I was going back, let's say, more or less to my normal life. And when I started to walk again, the doctors told me that I would probably limp and I was not allowed to wear high heels. And for me, that was the worst of it, not being able to wear high heels. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to listen to my body. And after a few years, I was looking for a sport. And that's where I decided to learn to dance salsa. And a few months after, I was dancing salsa almost at a professional level in my high heels, and all the pain that I had was gone.
Wow.
And the doctors, when I left the hospital as well, they told me the reason I recovered so well was because I had stayed positive throughout this experience, that I was always smiling and hopeful. And so it was a tough experience, but it was something that I'm actually grateful to have gone through. Because this is when I realized that actually the mind is stronger than your body, and when you set your mind to something, you can achieve it. You may not know how long it's going to take, you may not know how you're going to achieve it, but sooner or later you will. So that's why I wanted to share as well this experience with you and
Wonderful.
you.
That's very inspiring. I'm so happy that you bring this story from your life to all of us, and you shared that how your positive attitude through all these adversities, even having such kind of hope where you lose your hope and you feel like now I have to be not be able to do that, where you never experience that, and it brings a lot of breakdown and all, but we are really happy to hear how you kept yourself positive, you work on that, and you reached highest by wearing high heel and the high level of salsa, which is great.
Yes, and I'm still dancing. Well, although last year, obviously, we had to stop because everything was closed. But
Yeah.
since then, I've been dancing at least once, twice per week, and I still love it. And I still have my high heels and still enjoying it. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. So Virginie, here we are talking about you bring a little bit about your life, then you talk about your career life of 20 years of experience being in corporate. And when we are talking about corporate world, you traveled in different part of the places, you learn the language, moreover, even culture is same, but moreover, a part of that you adapt in new culture. How it seems like, and how you can what you can share with our audience or our listeners, how it is important, what approach you had, and how they can develop that approach.
Yes. So actually, since I was a student, diversity has been part of my life. And to me, now I cannot live without diversity. My husband, for instance, is from South America. He's Black. My brother lives in the UK as a British girlfriend. And during all my experiences, as I mentioned, I've worked with people from all over the world. I've managed international teams, etc. And to me, This is really the key. And how to be, you need diversity, because when you think about diversity and you include that to your life, whether it's personally or professionally, it helps you grow as a person and as a professional. And how did I do that? And that's an advice I give to everybody, is that keep an open mind. Don't assume you already have all the answers, even if you have lots and lots of experiences, because we are all unique and we all have something to offer. When I went to India, for me, this was such an amazing experience, because that was the first time of my life that I really had the impression I was in another world, because the culture is so different. And yet I loved it because I discovered so much. And I always say, you don't know what you don't know. And by really keeping an open mind, by asking questions, by not judging from the first side, but really listening to people, trying to understand them, trying to put yourself in their shoes, then you get other perspectives, then you get other ideas that you didn't think of before. And the more you listen, the more you observe, the more you ask questions, the more you will learn. And as I said, the more you will grow. And again, taking the example of my trips to India, every time I came back, I had a new perspective. I learned new things. And I've always loved traveling. Also, personally, I've been more to 45 countries, and every single time I travel, there is something new that I learn. And I hope I'll be able to travel again for many more years. And diversity, so having people from different countries, these different cultures is so important, but also having people who are from different ages. I have friends as well who are 20 years younger than me, and friends who are 20 years older than me. Because again, people have different perspectives, they have different backgrounds, different experiences. Again, people with different abilities. And the experience with my accident, for instance, the fact I was in a wheelchair for 6 weeks, it's a short period of time, but since then, I'm noticing things I would never have noticed before. So if I walk in a street and I see a shop, if the door is too narrow, I will say, well, this is not friendly for people who are in a wheelchair, because they cannot get into the shop, or if there is a small step. So having, again, people with different abilities really helps you see things you would not have seen before. So really, my advice is to keep an open mind, to not judge, really ask questions, try to put yourself in the other person's shoes, and do not judge, because again, you do not know what you do not know.
Yeah, very strong point. Keep yourself open mind, and try not to judge, because when which you do not know, you do not know. And when we are talking about it, you shared your different experiences through work, through your own personal life experiences, and how you gain those. Apart of that, how you find about language contribution, as you mentioned, you learned particularly languages, and French. You were studying in French, and then English and German, and then along with that, you are mentioning here you found your partner from South America. So bringing those Spanish and all these culture, and I believe you must be very good in all these languages as well. So how you find learning languages can be a very strong tool when you are looking yourself to have open mind. Do you find that?
Yes, absolutely. So my husband is actually from Suriname, which is one of the few countries where they do not speak Spanish, but Dutch. They speak Dutch because it's a former Dutch colony. And I've lived in Holland, so on a daily basis, we speak Dutch. I've lived in Italy, so I've learned Italian. I also speak a bit of Spanish. So yes, for me, I don't know why, but I've always loved languages. And as you rightly said, when you speak other languages, this really helps you connect with others and communicate in a better way. We all speak English, and it's already, well, we all, I shouldn't say we all, because if you're in France or in Italy or Spain, people don't all speak English. But like now we speak English, and it's a common ground, because English is not my mother tongue, it's French. But so when you have a common language, it helps communicate with each other. But when you really speak the language of other people, like when I went to Holland and I was speaking Dutch, or when I went to Italy when I was speaking Italian, people really appreciate the fact that you're trying to make an effort, you're trying to integrate into their culture. And so that's why I think if you get the chance to travel, of course, speaking English makes it easy in most part of the world. But if you are in a country where they do not speak English fluently, really try to take some basic lessons into the language, because first, again, that will help you go to do your grocery shopping and buy the bread, the smallest things like that, or order some drinks in a cafe, etc. So people, again, will really appreciate you making an effort. But also, because you will understand some of the basics of the language, this will also give you another perspective why people think a certain way or why people speak a certain way. For instance, I always take the example of German. German is a very different language compared to English. It's similar to Dutch, but for instance, you will often not hear people interrupting each other in German. And the reason is because when you build the sentences in German, if you just say a simple sentence like the weather is nice today, then that's fine. But if you say, I think that the weather is beautiful today, the German will put the verb of the second sentence at the end. So people have to wait until the end to understand what people want to say. And that's one of the reasons why they don't interrupt each other so often as in other languages. So really, again, you don't need to speak perfect language. And trust me as well, because I speak fluently 5 languages. None of my languages are perfect. Even my French, I've lost some of the expressions. But with the more languages you understand and you can communicate with, the more people will appreciate you, the more people will respect you, because again, they see you're making an effort. And if you're making mistakes, usually they will not make fun of you. They will try to help you, to explain you that maybe you can say things another way. And that's again how you learn, how you improve yourself, and how you grow. So it's really, languages is not I would say a must have, but it's definitely more than a nice to have if you can.
Right, that's very beautiful add. You put it like how you can add in your life more experiences and more awareness about all these cultural things and social things, because it makes you more connect, I believe. The same way when you are traveling, or you want to experience, or you want to just ask for a small grocery, uh, as you mentioned in German, you wait till the end to understand what the person wants to say. So it shows the person, the particular culture or the social etiquettes, I believe, and you behave accordingly, which can help the individuals to grow and develop. So Virginie, here we are talking about culture, diversity, languages, your experiences. Uh, Moving ahead, if we would like to ask you, uh, having all those experiences in your life, including your travel, your corporate, and your all this diversity, inclusiveness, what one thing would you like to emphasize strongly to our audience and or our viewers who are listening and watching us, that something they should add in their life?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you at the end. Can you repeat, Sushi?
What one thing, yeah,
Yes.
what one thing would you like to advise or suggest to our audience, that something that they should also add in their life based on your experience?
So I would say to be yourself and to believe in yourself. Nowadays, with social media as well, we often see that people are trying to copy famous people or try to copy things that have been done. And what I want to say is really do what is in your heart, what you believe, because society or even people, your friends or your close family, they will tell you things like, you shouldn't do this, or you're crazy, or no, it's not possible. But if you really believe it in yourself and you work at it, so one way And as I said before, one day it will happen. You may not know how, you may not know when, but it will happen. So again, keep an open mind. The open mind is valid to accept diversity and to include it in your life, but also for yourself. Keep an open mind. Don't beat yourself up as well. I see often nowadays young people who think like because they're 25 or 30, they are not millionaires yet, they're not married yet, or they don't have children yet. It doesn't matter. I would say I know in some cultures it's different, and also I had also to react to that because I was single for quite some time, and I was often told, yeah, what's wrong with you? You're not married, you don't have children yet, what's wrong with you? But as long as you know that it is your life, it's and nobody else will walk in your shoes, it's your life. So believe in yourself, do all the things that you think are right, and have a goal in mind. And as I say, you may not know how it will happen or when, but when you focus, when you keep working at it, sooner or later, it will happen. The universe will put things in place in front of you, and you will have to grab the opportunity. So don't be afraid, keep an open mind, and believe in yourself. That would be my message.
Yes. So believe in yourself and go with your feeling, what you feel is strong about your self. And
Yes.
that's very strong, actually. That's very strong. And I think we all have to understand that rather than getting really influenced or in putting ourselves in the negative, as you said, in young, especially young generation, where they feel like, oh, I haven't achieved this, I haven't become that. Uh, that's very important. So, Virginie, here we are talking about you, and now we would like to hear about your work. So, which you have started after your all corporate years of
Mhm.
experience as a consultant and as a mentor and coach. What you do, what kind of work you do with your clients, and how it is helping them. Can you explain and tell us more about it, please?
Yes, sure. So I do two type of things. The first thing I do is I deliver workshops or training for groups of people. So it can be a small group, like 2 people, but it can be until 10, 15 people. And here again, I give advice on all kinds of topics. So it can be from leadership, women leadership, how to communicate better, how to deal with stress, how to network better, how to think strategically. So all these kind of things I do. But I also do one-on-one coaching. So there I will I will work closely with a person, also help them on these different topics that can also be how to improve their public speaking skills as well. Myself, as I said before, I've been a quality and training manager several times, so I'm used to give presentation and training. I've also been part of Toastmasters, where I was the president as well for the French speaking club last year in Luxembourg. So I help people as well gain confidence and how to be more at ease with public speaking. So these are all the kinds of things I do. Again, about the mindset, how to believe in yourself, how to, again, to be more confident. So mainly helping people with improve their leadership skills and their confidence.
Mhm. When we are talking about your work and helping others to understand and develop leadership, how you define your leadership quality as a your work or as yourself?
Oh, that's a great question. So I would say what you see is what you get. I am very authentic. I am very passionate about helping people. I am committed as well. So when I work with people, I will do everything I can to make sure that they meet their goals. Obviously, they have to do the work. If they, of course, I can promise everything, but if they just sit and do nothing, I can't help them. But if people really work, I can guide them, I can challenge them as well. And again, I like to empower people. So really by guiding them, by really giving them tips from my experience, everything that I train or coach people or mentor people on is really based on my experience. as a woman, as a foreigner, because I've lived more than 25 years in abroad, so outside of France. I've been often as well, I've had these comments like I'm one of the few women, like when I was working with my Dutch and Indian colleagues, I was one of the 3 women out of a group of 40 people. I was one of the youngest, I was one of the foreigners as well. So all of the things that I'm teaching or training or coaching on is really based on my experience, what I've done to help people again work better together, what is needed as a leader to make sure that again people can all achieve their goals, whether it's individual goals or team goals. I always say we are all different, so it's normal to disagree. We don't have to agree all the time. But it's how we communicate with people, how we deal with people, and the most important is respect. So I try to bring all these values to people and re-emphasizing that tolerance is also very important, and that's the aspect of diversity and inclusion. Yes.
Yeah, very important and very strong point you shared, that how if we are dedicated and passionate and very strong with our own points and in our mind, we can develop the way we want to be. So Virginie, here we discussed about your work, here we discussed about your experience, and here we shared with our audience how they can also bring these diversity, these experiences of connecting and developing themselves in their life. How you find having a platform like this Women Dialogue Global Talk Show is important and needed in the same way?
Yeah, I think it's so great for people. I wish I had that when I started my career many years ago, because nowadays, and especially last year, we all saw that with the lockdown, some people had to stay home. They were some of us were alone. Also, on the opposite, some of us were surrounded by their families and children and had to deal with all kinds of things. So I think by having such a platform is great, because you can see that actually you are not alone. There are people facing the same challenges, the same issues. And there are people as well who can share, like me, who can share experiences that may motivate or inspire someone. And this is, as I say, great. I wish I had such platform like that, especially women. I think we have sometimes a tendency to overthink things. We try also to be the best at everything. And what I want to say again, part of being authentic and being yourself, don't beat yourself up. You cannot be the best mom and the best manager and the best looking person and the best cook and the best gardener and best at whatever. You have to pick and choose. But one thing as well I want to say is make sure you put yourself first. It's not selfish. On the opposite, when you can take care of yourself, then after you can take care of your family and your friends and your colleagues or your teams, etc. So really, really important. I've seen it with my accident. In my head, I was well, but because I was injured, I couldn't help my family or my friends. So I was not good at anything. And later on, a few years after, I had a burnout, and that was the opposite. Physically, I was well, but mentally, I was completely exhausted and frustrated and not feeling well. And that's where I say you have to find the right balance, but make sure, again, that you take care of yourself first. It's not selfish. And by doing that, and again, by having this platform, you can see that we are all facing some of the same challenges. But back to what I was saying, don't beat yourself up and believe in yourself and just do the best you can. There's nothing more that we can do. And that's it. By being yourself, believing in yourself, and making sure you put yourself first, and following these type of platforms, that will give you not only food for thoughts, but maybe inspiration, motivation to move forward.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having such a strong message and such a strong feeling for this talk show and this platform. And same time, as you said, Yes, we are here to inspire and motivate and to share our journey. And same time, we can get connect, we can get inspired, and we can see what the things we are lacking in our life, how we can get such a small maybe inspiration or spark by listening these speakers who are coming here and sharing their journey. They are like sharing their 20 years experience, or some are 33 years experience, which is great. Because as I think, if I'm saying myself, okay, I'm having this starting or beginner of experience career, or maybe adding up my own years of experience, but having such experience, speakers already in front of me can give me already some path or some direction by listening. So please, 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 I just would like to say, see these speakers, they have their experience. With their experiences, they are sharing their wisdom and knowledge. We can get benefit of our in our life, to grow, to motivate, and to get inspired what we need to become in our life. So be yourself and get your spark by here listening our today's speaker and many other speakers who have come here and share their journey with the same purpose and same mission, to inspire, to motivate you. As I always say, we are here to grow together and to develop together. With this same note, I just would like to say thank you, Virginie, for sharing all those wisdomful years and experiences with our audience today. And same time to our audience, please, as I say, listen and just get inspiration. And if you still have any question or query with our individual speakers, do connect with them. We put their details in the description, so you can have opportunity to connect with them and find yourself how you can move ahead in your life. And don't forget to share, subscribe, and like. We are here to develop together. With this same note, I will see you next time with one more great speaker to inspire, to motivate you. With that, take care. Bye bye.